You wake before sunrise to the sound of quiet breathing all around you. There is no nursery, no crib, no baby monitor. A child sleeps against a parent's chest beneath an animal hide while the rest of the group lies only a few steps away. Outside, the darkness still belongs to predators. Inside, every heartbeat matters. For almost all of human history, this was how childhood began. Not in a carefully designed bedroom, but in a world where a single mistake could mean the end of a family line. Yet despite disease, hunger, harsh weather, and dangerous animals, your ancestors managed to raise generation after generation until they became you. Modern childhood often feels carefully engineered. Schedules fill every hour, toys overflow bedrooms, experts debate every parenting decision, but your body and your brain were shaped long before any of those things existed. The surprising question is not why ancient children struggled. The real mystery is how any of them survived at all. Here's the thing. Human babies are unusually helpless. Compared with almost every other mammal, a newborn human arrives astonishingly unfinished. Scientists describe this as secondary altriciality, meaning babies are born before their brains are fully developed, because a larger brain would no longer fit safely through the mother's pelvis. In simple terms, humans traded stronger newborns for bigger adult brains. That bargain changed everything. Imagine holding a baby who cannot walk, cannot feed itself, cannot regulate body temperature well, and depends completely on everyone nearby. Now imagine doing that without medicine, electricity, diapers, bottles, or clean running water. How could any society possibly succeed? The answer was never one parent. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy has spent decades studying cooperative breeding, the idea that humans evolved to raise children together rather than alone. In plain language, babies survived because mothers almost never carried the entire burden by themselves. Grandparents, older siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and unrelated members of the band all shared responsibility. A crying child might pass through half a dozen caring arms before sunset. This may feel unusual today, but for most of human evolution it was perfectly normal. A child belonged to everyone. Among the Hadza people of Tanzania, whose hunting and gathering lifestyle has provided valuable insights for anthropologists, children move freely among trusted adults throughout the day. Researchers, including Frank Marlowe, observed that caregiving extends far beyond biological parents. Although modern hunter-gatherers are not living fossils, they offer important clues about social behaviors that may stretch deep into humanity's past. Think about what that meant in practical terms. If one adult became injured, another could carry the child. If one hunter failed, another family might share food. If a mother needed to recover after childbirth, grandmothers often stepped in. No schedule, no daycare, no appointments, just constant human presence. Could modern parenting feel less overwhelming if it were never meant to be done alone? Grandmothers may have played an even bigger role than most people realize. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes proposed the grandmother hypothesis after studying the Hadza. She suggested that older women, long past their own childbearing years, dramatically increased the survival of grandchildren by gathering reliable foods and helping with childcare. At first glance, menopause seems strange from an evolutionary perspective. Why would humans live decades after reproduction ends? One possible answer is simple. Because experienced grandmothers kept more grandchildren alive, their knowledge, patience, and food gathering became evolutionary advantages. Not every scientist agrees completely with the hypothesis, but growing evidence suggests older generations contributed enormously to human survival. Knowledge itself became a form of protection. A child needed to learn which berries could be eaten and which would kill within hours, which insects carried danger, which snake tracks demanded caution, which clouds warned of storms. These lessons rarely came through formal teaching. Children learned by watching, copying, and playing. Psychologist Peter Gray has argued that free play served as serious preparation for adulthood. Children chased one another with sticks that represented spears. They climbed rocks, they argued, negotiated, explored, and experimented. What looked like games were actually survival rehearsals. Would you recognize poisonous fruit if nobody had ever warned you? The human brain learns remarkably well through imitation. Neuroscientists have identified mirror neurons, brain cells that become active both when performing an action and when watching someone else perform it. Although their exact role remains debated, observation clearly plays an enormous part in human learning. Ancient children watched thousands of tiny demonstrations every day: how to start a fire, how to carry water, how to comfort a crying infant, how to read animal tracks invisible to inexperienced eyes. No textbooks, no classrooms, no homework, just life. Food presented another enormous challenge. Human breast milk provided essential nutrition, antibodies, and hydration. Breastfeeding often continued for several years, much longer than is common in many industrialized societies today. Extended breastfeeding reduced the chances of dangerous infections from contaminated food and water while giving children valuable immune protection. Eventually, children needed more calories than milk alone could provide. James Suzman, writing about the Juhwanzi people of southern Africa, describes societies where food sharing remained one of the strongest cultural rules. Meat from a successful hunt rarely belonged to a single family. It spread throughout the group. Plants gathered during the day were shared as well. This constant redistribution reduced the risk that children would starve simply because their own parents had a bad hunting week. Fair question. Didn't many children still die? Yes. Archaeological evidence and demographic studies suggest infant mortality was tragically high. Disease, accidents, childbirth complications, droughts, and infections claimed many young lives. Childhood in prehistory was not romantic. It was dangerous, uncertain, and often heartbreaking. But the story does not end there. Those who survived often grew into remarkably capable adults because every lesson had immediate consequences. Every generation inherited thousands of years of accumulated knowledge. Every mistake became tomorrow's warning. One overlooked survival tool was physical closeness. Modern parents sometimes worry about holding babies too much. Yet across many traditional societies, infants spend much of the day carried directly against an adult's body. This constant contact regulates temperature, reduces crying, strengthens emotional bonds, and allows caregivers to notice illness almost immediately. Your ancestors did not invent attachment parenting. Attachment parenting invented your ancestors. The psychologist John Bowlby later developed attachment theory, explaining how strong emotional bonds between infants and caregivers influence healthy development. In plain language, children who feel safe explore more confidently because they know someone trustworthy remains nearby. Safety creates curiosity. Curiosity creates learning. Learning creates survival. Now consider sleep. Many ancient families likely slept close together rather than separating infants into different spaces. Shared sleeping increased warmth, simplified nighttime feeding, and allowed adults to respond quickly if danger approached. Around the fire, every sleeper also became another pair of ears, listening for predators. No locked doors, no security cameras, only trust. Archaeological discoveries at sites such as Blombos Cave in South Africa and Chauvet Cave in France remind us that humans were already thinking symbolically tens of thousands of years ago. Art, ornaments, and carefully crafted tools reveal societies capable of teaching complex traditions across generations. Childhood was not merely about staying alive, it was about inheriting culture itself. Every story told beside a fire became another survival tool. Every song carried memory. Every ritual strengthened belonging. Children absorbed not only practical skills but shared identity. They learned who could be trusted, where the group belonged, and why cooperation mattered. Here's the surprising twist. The greatest weapon ancient humans possessed was not sharper spears or stronger muscles. It was other people. Compared with lions, humans were slower. Compared with bears, weaker. Compared with eagles, blinder. Yet no predator matched humanity's ability to cooperate across generations. Children inherited food, protection, language, technology, relationships, and wisdom before they could even understand those gifts. Your ancestors survived because no child truly grew up alone. Today, many parents face an entirely different challenge. Families often live hundreds or even thousands of miles apart. Neighbors remain strangers. Grandparents may visit only a few times each year. Technology connects everyone while physical communities quietly disappear. The human brain still expects a village. Instead, it often finds isolation. That mismatch may explain why raising children can feel so exhausting despite all the conveniences of modern life. Washing machines replaced rivers, refrigerators replaced food, uncertainty. Hospitals replaced many deadly diseases, yet no invention has fully replaced dozens of caring human hands. Perhaps the greatest lesson from prehistory is not how different your ancestors were, it is how familiar they remain. Every laugh between siblings, every grandparent's story, every comforting embrace, every child running freely through open space. These moments echo behaviors shaped over hundreds of thousands of years. You wake before sunrise to the sound of quiet breathing all around you. But now the scene means something different. Those quiet breaths were never protected by walls, wealth, or technology. They were protected by cooperation, by shared responsibility, by generations refusing to let the smallest members face the world alone. Modern society often celebrates independence as the highest achievement. Build your own career, buy your own home, raise your own family, solve your own problems. But your biology tells a different story. Your species became successful, not because individuals stood apart, but because communities stood together. Somewhere between endless notifications, crowded calendars, and the relentless rhythm of the 9 to 5, many people have mistaken isolation for strength. Your ancestors would have found that idea deeply strange. They understood something modern life often forgets. The greatest measure of wealth was never what one person owned, but how many hands reached out when a child began to cry.